All right, no filter MMA family. This is your boy BJ back with another video short. So I wanted to come following the fights last night. I watched the fights at my parents' house. I was hanging out with my dad, what I'm saying, trying to get him into mixed martial arts. He's not really that into it because he's a very old thinking type of person. So here we go. So as we're watching, I forgot which fight we were watching. I think we were watching, I don't remember. Anyways, so he, of course, my dad's a very old school traditional person. He's a very old school way of thinking type person. And he brings up the topic of Bruce Lee. And I'm just like, oh, here we go. My dad's a huge Bruce Lee fan. And anyone that my dad is a fan of, it doesn't matter what you say about them, they're the best. And I was trying to speak some common sense to my dad so that he could understand what I was saying. So his argument was that that Bruce Lee could come into the octagon and pretty much beat anyone. He was saying that without saying it, So the point I was trying to make to my dad is, there are people who can get around the way that Bruce Lee fights. And that style has been seen in the octagon before. And so my dad's defense was, well, Bruce Lee was super lightning fast, super fast, super lightning fast, which I understand that. But I told my dad, I said, Dad, we never seen Bruce Lee fight. There's very limited footage of Bruce Lee actually in a real fight with a real mixed martial artist. So I don't think there's any footage of him with a real mixed martial artist, And I was trying to tell him, and I brought up the Gracies, and my dad doesn't know much about MMA, so he doesn't understand when I say the term Gracies. My dad, these guys, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was so good. It was so good, that they would, as soon as Bruce Lee throws something, they're going to duck under it and grab his legs. And they're going to take him down and they're going to put him on his back. You know what I'm saying? And my argument behind that was my dad was, his response to that was, BJ, I don't think you know how hard Bruce Lee trained. I don't think you know the speed. I don't think you know the shape. I'm like, Dad, that's not uncommon anymore. In that era of time, it seems so big because there wasn't a lot of people back then that were training like that. I said, now you have organizations like Bellator, you have PFL, you have the UFC. You've got all these different organizations with these some of these guys are in phenomenal shape, phenomenal speed. I mean, think about Lyoto Machida. Lyoto Machida was one of the greatest karate masters in mixed martial arts. You know what I'm saying? So there's your speed. There's your lightning fast, whatever. But anyway, the point I was trying to make to my dad was there are groups of people out there who train the complete opposite of what Bruce Lee was. Bruce Lee was karate or taekwondo or whatever you may call it. But there were people out there who trained like the Gracies in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a definition that I've gained and formed about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu over the years of watching this sport, is it neutralizes a lot of tools that you bring to the table, that their opponent brings to the table. Why do you think the Gracies came into the UFC in the early days and was taking motherfuckers out? No matter what discipline they were trained in, it didn't matter what they did. The Gracies were so confident in their training that, hey, I can take you down and choke you or break your arm or break your leg, no matter what it is that you do, So my point was, we've seen these 3 to 5 second spurts and acts of feats that Bruce Lee did that was so amazing. And my dad was like, oh, they had to slow the cameras down, and they slow the cameras down every replay of a UFC fight. That's what I was trying to explain to him. But my point is, and cardio was also brought up as well. And my dad was like, well, Bruce Lee was so fast. He trained so hard. I said, Dad, but we've never seen Bruce Lee 2.5, 3, 4 rounds deep in a fight where his lightning speed did not work on somebody when somebody got past the lightning speed of Bruce Lee. It could be anybody, that's not going to work on everybody. You have distance management. You have long, rangy fighters. You have fighters with 3 times the power of Bruce Lee. I would say Bruce Lee would have been like maybe like a bantamweight, like a natural bantamweight, or if Bruce, or a flyweight or something like that. There are people who can get around that. Those, my dad's not, he's, what my dad has seen in movies has dominated his way of thinking about the way things are in real life. And I was trying to tell my dad how things happen in real life with real fighters, and there's very limited footage on Bruce Lee on what he done in a real fight. We never seen Bruce Lee 2-3 rounds deep in a fight where his nose is busted open, someone landed a good shot, or someone's had a triangle choke on him and sucked some of the energy out of his life, or had a body lock on him, you know what I'm saying, and he's not able to move for half a round. It's all types of things that play into it. But anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think about the argument that me and my dad had about whether Bruce Lee would fare against any newer age MMA fighters. What and how do you think it would go, and what would be your dream matchup for Bruce Lee? This is your boy BJ from No Filter MMA. Hit that like button, hit that dislike button, and if you haven't already, down below that, hit that subscribe button, and I am out.